we are at that time now, so we can proceed. These are the bond hearings for Friday, October 18th. We are on the record, and as everyone knows, we have two significant cases that we will be hearing. I'll just remind everyone of courtroom protocols. Please keep any reactions to anything that is said, particularly I think the DA might have that information. Do not react, and we'll do the best we can to keep these matters moving along. I will at the end indicate the initial appearances, but for those of you that want that information, those will be next Monday. That is October 21st. They're in branch 4 at 1 o'clock with the regular, well actually that's a half hour early, so that was why they told me that. Okay, now let me make sure, yes, that's the information that I will be reading off the sheet later. Okay, I don't know, Ms. Fay, will you be representing them for today's purposes?
I will be representing Mr. Vang.
And who is representing Ms. Baur? Okay, I don't see that Ms. Gratz is in or anyone else responding. Well, one step at a time then. Also, anyone who's appearing on the Zoom that is not part of a bail hearing, not necessarily these two, but any bail hearing, you can just watch on the live stream. And then we don't have to see names or know who's there. All right, we are ready to proceed then. Our first matter is that of Jesse Vang. This is an initial bail hearing regarding 24 CF 692. The charges in the matter are obstructing, hiding a corpse, and physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death. Ms. Fay, since you're handling this one, go ahead, please.
Commissioner, he would have his address and phone number be the information at the Manitowoc Jail, date of birth 11/4/1984.
All right. Attorney LaBrie, go ahead.
Commissioner, the state is asking for a $500,000 cash bail. Conditions to include no contact with the co-defendant and no contact with any children under the age of 18. The defendant's prior record started in 2002 in Allegheny County with party crime of criminal damage to property. That same year, fleeing an officer at Manitowoc, battery by prisoner. There was a child abuse in Allegheny County, delivery of cocaine in Winnebago County in 2005, possession of cocaine in 04 and 06, resisting, obstructing in 07 out of Allegheny County, a felony bail jumping in 2009 in Allegheny, disorderly conduct, and then more recently in 2017 in federal court, he had conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine, where he was incarcerated for a period of time and was released in 2022. So he has a prior record, significant record, which it does involve some battery-related offenses. He also has some fleeing an officer-related offenses and felony bail jumping, all of which are concerned for him to comply with bail conditions. His charges in this case have been increased. They are very serious charges. They are the most serious charges, which involve the death, and not only the death of another human being, of a young child. He's facing life imprisonment, which gives him an incentive to flee. And when you look at the facts of this case, this was abuse that occurred over a long period of time, several months, and in the criminal complaint that's before Your Honor, you can see the detail as far as the actions that he made the child do as far as discipline, the standing for prolonged periods of time, the terrorizing and other abuse that is involved. There's also starting in paragraph 55, the information from Dr. Petska, who's a child abuse specialist, where she finds that these type of physical abuse also was psychological and emotional maltreatment. Furthermore, he attempted to cover up his crime with the hiding a corpse charge, where he did try and conceal where our victim was placed, and as the board is aware, it did take an amount of time for us to actually locate where the victim was. So he did try and conceal his crime as well. Based upon the prior record, the seriousness of the offense, and his own actions in this case, I think a significant cash bail is appropriate. I'd ask for the $500,000 cash with the other conditions. Thank you.
Attorney Fay.
Commissioner, Mr. Vang does not wish to argue bail at this time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The seriousness of this is beyond discussion. I should note, though, that Mr. Vang has been unable to post the cash previously set, and remind the community that bail is not punishment. Bail is to assure his appearances. Despite the weight of the evidence, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and the district attorney's office will have to meet. We will get to those stages as time goes on. I am going to grant the request and set the $500,000 cash as requested, with the conditions: no contact with the co-defendant. We specifically will indicate her name. It's Katrina Baur. No contact with any person under the age of 18. And his initial appearance, as I noted earlier, will then be on Monday. That is October 21st at 1 p.m. in the courtroom for Branch 4, which is the one down the hall. Mr. Vang, you do have the right to be represented by a lawyer. Failure to appear, a warrant would be issued. I realize that might seem unnecessary to say, but I like to stay on my speech, make sure I say everything. So that is your right and your obligation. Compliance with the bond conditions is also required, or additional charges could be issued. With that, we are adjourned. Mr. Vang, you may leave the room. They'll bring in Ms. Baur, I believe. So that's going to take a couple of minutes to switch over. Okay, Ms. Baur's arrived. Okay. All right, our next individual then is Katrina Baur, here for a bail hearing regarding 24 CF 693. I will note that attorney, please correct me if I'm wrong, it is Amanda Gratz.
Amber Gratz.
Amber Gratz. Okay, well, I tried without looking it up. And even though she's in the situation that we are all probably too aware of, basic information first, date of birth, address, phone number that you want used. Anything before we hear from the DA?
What's listed in the
Okay. I guess we'll leave that as is. We'll just verify the date of birth is December 9th, 1992. The jail is the current location, although she does have a home address that's in the complaint. All right, Attorney O'Brien.
Commissioner, the state is asking for a $400,000 cash bail. Conditions to include no contact with the co-defendant, no contact with children under the age of 18. Her prior record is disorderly conduct out of Winnebago County in 2011, a disorderly conduct in Allegheny County from 2016, some traffic-related offenses, and then she does have an arrest out of state in Las Vegas from 2014, but I don't have a disposition on that, but it does show that she has some out-of-state contacts. As I had indicated with the co-defendant's bail argument, this is the most serious type of cases here involving the death of a small child. Ms. Baur allowed and even sent the victim to this residence for the boot camp or discipline. She condoned it, she allowed it to happen, and even left him there days before he passed away when she had the opportunity to remove him from that situation. He was abused over this period of time, as I indicated previously, when you look at Dr. Petska's information towards the end of the complaint, as far as the physical issues with the standing, the maltreatment, with the psychological and emotional terrorizing that also occurred. The state feels that a significant cash bail is appropriate in this case, and I would ask for the $400,000 cash. Thank you.
All right, I didn't read the charges into the record. We do have the 2 counts of obstructing for Ms. Baur. Chronic child neglect, specified harm did not occur, and then felony child neglect. Attorney Gratz, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would note for the record that she is currently sitting on a $15,000 cash bond, which she has had no ability to post in a significant amount of time. She does have ties to the community and has been a lifelong resident of Wisconsin.
All right, well, thank you. And much as I had said from Mr. Vang, the community is encouraged to remember presumed innocence until proven guilty. When the evidence is all heard and a decision is rendered, that is when punishment occurs. This is not that phase of the trial or the proceedings. However, I am aware of that cash bond and her inability to post and the unwillingness of the court to reduce that to date. I don't see that that is likely to change. However, each matter has to be looked, if not in a silo, at least looked at separately and considered. These charges are extremely serious. And recognition of the death of this young child does need to be given. I am going to set the cash bail as $400,000 as requested with the conditions: strict no contact with Jesse Vang and no contact with any other person under the age of 18 except as permitted for her child. Is that still being allowed for other child?
We're working with the other county.
So do you want an exception now or not?
At this point, I would ask for no contact with children under 18, and then we'll work out specific wording regarding that child.
All right, I will leave it that way. I know this is going to be something that will be dealt with going forward as well. And I don't know enough about this other child's situation to try to craft anything at this time, so that seems appropriate. All right, so I will make it strictly any child under the age of 18. The initial appearance for Ms. Baur, as for Mr. Vang, is being set for Monday,